Hi. About a year ago, I started mixing in Logic Pro, and I didn't understand signal flow, where the signal was going, or exactly what I was hearing. So I built a chart in Obsidian to help me understand the signal flow and gain more control over my mixes. So here's the chart I made in Obsidian with Canvas. I've got piano instruments and buses here, drums and drum buses, strings with their buses, and a bass with their buses. Here I just have some reminders of what the different sections do. I have the reverb bus here, and then it goes down to the mix bus, the master. These are reference tracks, and I have my monitoring chain over here. So we'll go through these one by one. So basically a bus is a group of instruments. And up here I have track levels, which are the instruments themselves. These levels are just starting points, suggested starting points. And I have bus levels here, which are also suggested starting points. So first we have the piano. I do not have a piano bus because there's only one piano. If I had multiple pianos, I might make a piano bus. And then I have the piano send. That basically just sends the signal to the reverb bus. And then further down we have the drum instrument. We have the drum bus for multiple drum sets, and we also have the drum send for the reverbs. And then we have the strings. We have high strings, a string send for the reverbs, and the string bus. We have low strings and bass, and we just have a bass bus. I don't have a bass send to the reverb because most of the time bass doesn't need reverb, it just causes issues. Now onto the reverb. I have a long reverb set and a short reverb set, so I can send the instruments to their buses and then to whatever reverb I want. And then I have the reverb master bus. I usually put an EQ on there just to take out the really low end. And then it goes down to the mix bus, where it joins all the other signals from all the instrument buses. Now onto the mix and master chain to the stereo out. So all the instruments and buses come in dry, which means no reverb over here into the mix bus. And then reverb is a separate signal that comes from the reverb bus up here. And on the mix bus, I have gain, EQ, and compression. And I also have a reference track that goes into the mix bus, so I can play a song through my EQ and compression so I could see how it would affect a commercially mixed song. Then it all goes to the master chain, and on the master chain I have a gain plugin that's set to mono. That way I can test my song in mono, see if it still sounds good. And then it goes to the stereo out, basically sending it to my listening devices. And I have two reference tracks that go directly to stereo out, so those two tracks are not affected by any of the things before it. They go directly to stereo out. So I can basically compare everything coming out of the master chain with one or two professionally mixed songs. And then it goes to where I can listen to it. Okay, now on to my monitoring chain. Everything I've done before goes into my 4th generation Scarlett audio interface. and goes to my headphones or to my monitoring speakers. I have ATH M50X headphones. That's Audio-Technica M50X headphones. And I also have SonarWorks SoundID correction, which corrects any coloring that the headphones might do to the sound. It also goes to my Mackie subwoofer, which has crossover control. Crossover control is basically where the subwoofer takes the lower frequencies and hands off the rest to my CR 3.5 monitors. And I'm constantly listening through all this so I can adjust stuff back in my mix. Now here it is all in Logic. I have my piano instrument. I have my high strings and strings bus. These are sends up here that send it to the reverb bus. I have the low strings and bass and the bass bus. I have the drums and the drum bus. Then I have the reference bus, or the reference tracks, 3 of them. This one goes to bus 3, which is the mix bus. And then these other 2 go directly to stereo out. And then I have my short reverb and my long reverb. I have a delay that I didn't put in the chart. And then I also have the mix bus and the ST out, the stereo out, and my master. So all of this helps me control my mix and hear it, but it doesn't fix the acoustics of my room. It also doesn't help with small speaker monitoring or car monitoring. It doesn't help with translation.